I want to welcome you to another presentation on healing power God's way. We spoke about true remedies applied in the previous session, and this is true remedies applied, the second one. Our memory verse for this series is, "For I will give health back to you, and will heal you of your wounds, saith Jehovah." I thank God for a verse like this. This verse has given me hope in a time when I had no hope, when I was diagnosed with cancer. We spoke about, and we started speaking about, the health laws that would actually prevent you from getting a disease. I know today that I could have prevented cancer if I followed these laws in my life. But I praise God for the fact that these same laws is also the true remedies for recovery from disease. And so with our previous session, we spoke about nutrition, and we would like to focus now on exercise. How could this be a law of health, but also a true remedy that would help me to recover from those lifestyle diseases that we are compromised with? A verse that comes up when I think of exercise is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24 to 27. "Do you not know that those running in a race all run, but one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain. And everyone who strives for the mastery is temperate in all things." Well, it makes me think of, when I am preparing for a cycle tour, or I'm preparing to run a marathon, I have to be very temperate in what I do and what I eat, because I want to excel, so certain things compromises me not excelling, and so I need to avoid those things. Well, the scripture is very clear about that. "Then those truly, that they may receive a corruptible crown." So, to get that prize at the end of the day, that medallion, I finished the race, I'm very temperate. But what do we do from a spiritual point of view? And I think, when we talk about exercise being, great for the body, we need to also know that exercise spiritually is so important. We need to really, and we want to have that incorruptible crown. So, because I want that, I run. Not as if I were uncertain. I'm practicing every day. I'm temperate in what I eat so that I could run. I'm not uncertain what I want to do. I want to run this race, and I want to do well in this race. And so somebody that, that fights, and, it could be somebody that's doing, boxing or kickboxing or karate or whatever you want to do. You're not going to fight as one just beating in the air. You're going to really focus on your target. You're going to make sure that you hit the mark. And so Paul says to Corinthians, "I buffet my body. I leave it to slavery. I lead it to have hardship in exercise." It's not easy to do exercise every day. You have to discipline yourself. I do this proclaiming to others that I myself might be rejected. So I do this, as an example, not only for the corruptible crown, but even for the uncorruptible crown, the real reason why we are living. Now, when we talk about exercise, when we do this in moderation, it improves our whole body. Even a good thing like exercise can be overdone. And this is why we will speak about temperance as we get to that topic. In excess, exercise could be an immune system compromiser. It causes oxidation. It damages one in such a way, and the cell structure in such a way, that one will age faster. So we need to exercise in moderation. When exercise causes deep breathing, and normally that is when I would really push myself a little bit, I would start breathing deeply. The 16th breath, now this is what science teaches us, the 16th breath switches on natural painkilling transmitters. So those happy hormones then kicks in. So, I have to really get going. And when I breathe in that 16th breath, that is when these neurotransmitters kick in and these happy hormones are secreted. And I'm feeling a feeling of, well-being as I exercise. And this is the most profound positive effect on even blood sugar levels. The best way besides nutrition to stabilize blood sugar levels is with exercise. It's one of those secrets of controlling our blood sugar levels is having regular exercise. We are also taught that it causes over 7,000 gene changes for the better. So when we look at epigenetics, this is the switch or the switching on of a gene or switching off of a gene. And this could really make a difference with regards to my next generation and even the generation after that. So, the way I deal with my body could determine what my grandchildren would have with regards to genes switched on or switched off. Exercise boosts your youth hormones. When you keep on being active, it means that your youth hormones are stimulated and you keep younger. It also increases your brain size by causing your brain to make new brain cells and stopping brain shrinkage. This is really very important. If I want a clear mind, I need to have an active life with exercise. There's lots and lots more benefits of exercise. You don't have to go to a gym to do good exercise, to be active. We sometimes are stuck with this, I can't afford the gym. I need the gym, but I can't afford the gym. Really, this is not, the only place. You can turn your whole life into a life of activity, a life of exercise. When you walk fast. Don't go on a stroll every time you go for a walk. Walk fast. Walk with a purpose. This is what Paul said, have a goal in mind. When we live on earth, it's not just like, to live here on earth, but have the goal. There's a better life ahead of us. So walk with a goal. When you do your housework, do it as fast as you can. Don't drag it to see how long it can take you today. No, do it fast, because this is part of living a life of activity, living a life of exercise. Find the nearest step to do a step test or a step walk. So researchers found that 10 minutes on a step, that's 150 millimeters high step, and you would just step up and down for 10 minutes. That is equal to a half an hour's brisk walk. If the day it's raining, you can't go for your walk or your jog, whatever really thrills you, go for that step in your home and just go up and down for 10 minutes and get your breathing deep. And by the 16th breath, that those little happy hormones are secreted, and it's just really going to help you to stay longer, happier, and healthier. And this is what life is about. Get yourself a skipping rope and just start skipping. It will help you not only to get fit, but it could actually help you get your rhythm going and balance. There's a lot of very good benefits from this. Jog for a kilometer a day. Just start with 1 kilometer a day. And it could be a fast walk and then go for, that nice 1 kilometer jog. A growing body of research shows you can get fit in a fraction of the time compared to the old standards of recommending that you have exercise 30 minutes a day and then an hour a day every day of the week. You could actually, by high intensity interval training, really get your fitness up much, much quicker. So, HIIT is really the new thing, where you would alternate relative short bursts of intensive exercise with periods of rest. So I would, go for a quick run, and it could be that half a kilometer, just pushing yourself. Your breathing is going to go up, heart rate is going to go up. I wouldn't do this like the first day. Build it up gradually, but then you sprint and then rest, sprint and then rest. And this really shows to be very, very effective. It can deliver many of the health and fitness benefits you get from doing hours of conventional exercise, even if done only a total of a few minutes a week. We need to just get exercise. We need to be active and get our lives active. Exercise as hard and as fast as you can for 30 seconds. You should be grasping for your breath. You should feel like, you couldn't possibly go another few seconds, and then you would rest and recover. It normally takes about 90 seconds, still moving, but at slower pace and decreased resistance. In the beginning, repeat only once, and as you get fitter, increase the number of times you repeat, and that's it. End of the story. You're going to really get a good value of fitness very, very quickly. Now, there's a lot of benefits from exercise. We have enough research to show that your blood sugar levels, if it's high, would gradually come down and get to normal when you would have an active exercise program. It has shown that a low blood sugar level could actually be gradually pulled up by exercise and get to the normal values. There's other benefits like your blood pressure. Your blood pressure would come down gradually right to normal when you would start exercising. Your low blood pressure could actually get normalized by a good exercise program. And so is your immune system. Moderation strengthens your immune system. Over exercising will weaken your immune system. So I'm not going to, push my cells beyond limits, because my immune system even is going to suffer from this. And then there's, again, I want to remind you of these endorphins that are released when you have that 16th breath. And when you get that 16th breath, those endorphins just get flushed into the system, and you're going to feel that good feeling of, wow, I'm doing it. I'm really doing what I need to do. Interesting enough, cholesterol, your HDL, that's your good cholesterol, increases with exercise. And we find that your LDL actually goes down. Your bad cholesterol goes down as you would exercise. Oh, this is great stuff. You know what? Let's just start being more active. I've always, wondered why some people's thumbs are so nice and muscly. And I've just, figured that out lately. It's because of all the remotes that we are just pressing. So this is the exercise many people get in a day, where they push to change a channel, or they push the buttons of their cell phone. And this is the activity they get. We need to get more exercise. We need to get more activity in our life. Get out for a walk, and in a short little burst, just push yourself, and then relax a little bit and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the nature, enjoy the beautiful creation God has given us. May exercise be a focus in your area as you do the things in your life to find that real healing, that real power, and it's God's way. God has given us new start as a principle to live by. That is a health law. That is our health laws. Let's use this as true remedies if we are not doing well. I want to go to water next, and this is a new start. The next one we want to look at, a very, very important one. And when I think of water, I think of the healing properties of water. There's a lot of other things about water we can say, but water is such a miracle thing when it comes to the healing properties. 2 Kings chapter 5 has a very important little example of that. And I think back of this ruler, and they conquered some servants from the Israel people, and there was a little girl that was now a servant in the home of this ruler. Can you think of who this is? Yep, yeah, it's Naaman. And they were speaking as a family about this. What am I going to do? I've got leprosy. What am I going to do? I can't go on like this. And they were speaking about this, and this little girl heard this. And then she said to her, as a servant, she asked, "Can I say something?" And they said yes. She said, "You know what, sir, your condition could be healed if you just get to Israel. If you could get to our prophet there, he could heal you." And so we find that Naaman came with his horses and his chariots, and he stood at the door of the house of Elijah. That is after he actually went to the king and said, I'm here to be healed. There's a little girl that's working for me, and she said, I must come to you. You would hear. And you know what the king did was he just tore his clothes and said, "Who do you think I am? I'm not God. Who do you think I am?" And the fact is, the prophet Elisha heard about this, and he sent a message, "Come to me." And so this is how Naaman came to the door of Elisha, and Elisha sent him a message. He didn't speak to him himself. I mean, this was crazy. He didn't speak to him. This guy came all the way to the king. He left there, he came to this little house, this little pondoki of Elisha. Elisha didn't even speak to him. He just sends out a messenger and says, "Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall come to you, and you shall be clean." You will become clean. You will be, you will have new flesh. And so, yeah, Naaman, you know the story. He got very upset. He said, "I come all the way here, and you say, I must go and wash in this dirty Jordan River. We've got beautiful rivers. I could have just gone there, and don't even talk to me, And so he just gets very upset and climbs on his chariot and says, "Let's go home." And while they leave, his servants tells him, "You've come all the way, and all he's asking you is just go down in the river. So why don't you just go and do that? Just go into the water, as he said, and he said you must do it 7 times, and yeah." And I can just imagine that day what happened there. I can imagine he thought to himself, "Well, okay, I'm here, I can't lose much, it's going to be wet, and that's all, and it's a dirty river, but okay, let me just go in." And so they stopped at the Jordan River, and he went in. And I can just imagine, washing himself a little bit, and then get up, look, something happened, nothing happened, and go down again, and wet himself again, and nothing happened. But he did this 7 times. And yeah, verse 14 says, he went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like the flesh of a little boy, and he was clean. Now this really thrills my heart. When God does healing, when he does the miracles for us, and he really wants to do it for us today, he doesn't do it halfway. I mean, he doesn't only heal that skin that was scarred by the leprosy. No, he makes his skin new like a little boy's skin again. This is a great God we serve. And what we want to demonstrate here is, God could have said, through Elisha, or however, he could have said, you healed. He did it. You healed. But he made him do something that was very interesting. And you know what? I found more and more as I do research, God says to us, do these little stupid things, little menial little things that we think it's menial. Do it my way and you'll see results. I could just imagine, he tried dipping 3 times, there was no effect. He had to go 7 times. That was God's instruction. Now, God's got little instructions like that for us as well. He says, do this, and we say, no, no, no. This doesn't sound too good. It's out of my comfort zone. I can't do this. But he says 7 times, go down 7 times, and then there will be a healing effect. God has the same message for us. And I want us to look at this whole water issue as one of the natural remedies in a different view as we look at this. Now, water is an amazing substance. It's really amazing. It can stimulate your body, not only internal use, but external use. I know when I'm really tired, sometimes, when I've gave presentations for a while and my brain is tired, my body is tired, all I need is just go and do some contrast treatment. I love to go to one of these hot springs where you go in the natural hot water and then you go and just jump into the cold, icy cold water. And winter time is the best for that. And you go into the steaming hot and then you jump back into the cold. It stimulates our body. If you feel tired and you can't concentrate, you just need to rinse your face with a little bit of cold water and it feels like you just, wake up immediately. You could actually force the body to react in hydrotherapy. Now, hydrotherapy stands for hydro is water and therapy is therapy. So it's water treatment, water therapy. Now, I want us just to take a few moments and we're going to just look at Chantal Horn showing us and demonstrating to us a few modalities of hydrotherapy, what you could do in certain conditions at home. If you've got a headache, what should you do with a headache? If you've got, pains in the legs, what would you do that? If you've got bad circulation, what could you do there? If you've got a sore throat, what should I do if I've got a sore throat? If I want to build my immune system so it would just defend my system against all these attacks, especially in winter time, we're going to look at, and we say thank you to Chantal, spending some time with us, demonstrating of how we can actually turn this around. Hi Chantal, I'm so glad that you can be on the set, the Healing Power God's Way set, and we've been looking forward to you showing us simple ways of using hydrotherapy to do a few important things.
Yes. All right, so shall we start then?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think the first one that's important to show our viewers is to just explain a simple hot and cold contrast.
Contrast.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what, many people this time of the year, they have like tennis elbow.
Yes, yes.
So if I've got a tennis elbow,
what can you do?
What can I do? What can I do for this?
Okay, well, here in this bowl, we have some hot water.
Yeah.
It's hot enough, but it's not so hot that it will burn you.
Sure.
And in this bowl, we've got ice cold water with some ice blocks, as you can see.
Okay.
So what is important is to have a contrast between really hot and really cold.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you put your arm.
All right, so I must put my arm in there?
In the hot one.
Okay.
And then you keep it in there for about a minute.
All right.
And then you come over to the cold.
Okay.
Okay, so you would keep that in for about a minute in the hot. And then you'll move over to the cold and you put it in here for about another minute.
Chantal, I've heard that, when you do contrast, you would have the hot a bit longer and then colder. You could do that as well.
Yes, yes. That's basically ideal for when you do contrast showers.
Sure.
You would have the contrast the shower on very hot.
Three
for
minutes?
3 minutes, and then you'll go over to cold.
Okay.
For about a minute.
Yes.
50 seconds to a minute.
So I must just make sure that this is nice and hot.
Yes.
And my whole elbow should be in the water.
Yes.
And then I go over to the
cold.
To the cold.
Sorry, it's really cold.
Hey?
So what you would do from here on is you will go back to the hot and you will come back to the cold, and you go back to the hot and you'll come back to the cold. So you'll repeat it a few times.
So I would go back to the hot again.
Yes. Keep it there for another minute.
It must be now heating up again.
Exactly, yes.
And so what you'll do is you could even put more hot water in to make
Yes,
sure that it's always
yeah, because
hot.
unfortunately hot water will cool down to room
Yeah,
temperature.
especially with coming out of there.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And
So
so,
you want
I
to
always will end with a cold.
exactly. That's right. Yes.
Always end with a cold. And what I've learned is, 3 times really works well.
Yes, it does.
I
And
don't
you
know
can
why
do
Naaman had to do it 7 times, but I mean, yes, 3 times
is sufficient.
yeah.
And you can do this a few times a day. You don't have to do it just once. You can do it a few times a day. And this will promote healing in the area where there's inflammation or maybe not so good blood circulation
Yeah.
or wherever healing is needed. This
Yeah.
will actually
So inflammation would take away the pain, it would,
yes,
and then the circulation to those joints.
Exactly.
That is
yes.
going to improve my
Yes.
joint health. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a basic example of a hot and cold contrast.
So I can do it in my feet.
Yes.
Or I could do it in my legs. I would just have a longer container.
Exactly.
And then I could do the contrast.
And then
the
just
same
switch
thing.
the feet or the legs.
And so I can even have a hot swimming pool, like a resort where there's hot
like
water,
a jacuzzi type of thing,
and then go into the cold again,
exactly,
and then go back into the hot.
That's very good.
And that's going to push the immune system.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the same concept what the contrast showers will do. You'll have 3 minutes hot and a 1 minute cold, and you'll repeat that 3 to 4 times as well, and that actually boosts the immune system. It stimulates the reproduction of white blood cells, so it will give you energy for the day.
Right.
And if you are someone struggling with fever or a cold, etc., then I would suggest that you do that to stimulate.
So when a cold comes, I can tell you now.
Yes.
Winter time, when the cold comes, when I feel those little scratches in the neck,
yes,
then the first thing I'll do is I will go for that contrast shower.
Yes, it's very
and
important.
it really kicks it out very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's also nice to tell people that you can even do a contrast shower when you're not ill because it will boost your energy.
Sure.
And I have found if I do a contrast shower, I don't get as cold as other people in the winter.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's even another idea. If you're someone that's struggling to get cold,
your system gets used to temperature control, and you can
and the
actually
circulation.
Better.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
All right. So
what else are you going to teach us?
Okay, the next thing I want to teach you is let's pretend that you've got a terrible cold right now.
Yeah. So I've got a chest that's really congested.
Yes, you have body aches.
And maybe a little bit of bronchitis.
Yes.
Will you be able to help me with bronchitis?
Yes, I would definitely.
Pneumonia?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so the treatment we're going to look at now is called the wet t-shirt.
Yes.
And for this, you'll just need about 3 things to get yourself started. Sure. The first thing that you will need is a black bag, just an ordinary black bag that you would use in your home. And what refuge bag, yes. If you can get the see-through ones, that would be even better, but this works perfectly fine as well. So what we've done is we've actually turned it upside down. So the the open part will now be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we've turned it upside down and we've cut a hole for the head and we've cut holes for the arms so that it can be worn as a t-shirt.
All right.
So this is the first thing that you want to do. Then what you need is you need a t-shirt. Any ordinary t-shirt.
Any normal t-shirt?
Yes. And this t-shirt you want to wet underneath the tap.
Yeah.
With preferably cold water.
So you're going to put it in the water,
and then take out all the water so that it's not dripping wet, but it needs to be wet.
Yeah.
If you like, you can leave the arms dry just for comfortability's sake, and then you need to put this t-shirt on.
Okay,
but it has to go against your skin.
So I'm not going to take my shirt off. I don't want everybody to see my chest here. But okay, so I'm going to put it over there. But then my shirt is off. It's on my skin.
Exactly.
And so I'm putting this t-shirt on.
Yes, so you have to pretend that he's putting it onto his skin at this moment.
Health Expo, can you see? That is a great thing that you need to go and try in your community.
Definitely.
Right? And then what this is now wet.
This is now wet.
Okay, and I would have
skin.
shorts on.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Then what you do is you put the black bag.
It's very cold. It's wet, eh?
Put the black bag over the t-shirt. There we go. I like to just tie it in some way around the waist. Just to keep the t-shirt in, or stick it at the back, or whatever works for you, just to keep everything inside.
Okay.
And then what you need...
So if you could tie it here on the side or whatever, because you want the wet t-shirt not to make everything wet.
Yeah, because you're going to use this in bed, and you don't necessarily want your bed to be all soggy and wet and all of that. So find a way to keep the black bag intact.
Yes.
So that the t-shirt doesn't come out to wet everything. Then the next thing that you would need to do is you need to take a nice warm top, and then you put this over the black bag.
Yeah.
So let's put this on.
That's
And while he's putting that on, I can just explain to the viewers what he will now do is after he's got all these things on, he would have to climb into bed with enough blankets so that he will sweat. And you will keep this whole thing on for between 6 to 8 hours to make sure that proper healing can, or that everything that needs to be done are being done.
so what's happening here is now the wet T-shirt is calling for a lot of blood
To make the T-shirt
to
warm.
make this T-shirt warm.
Yes.
And there's a whole process taking place there where the body is now actually heating up. And I'm getting, you know, a point where my white blood cells now kick in.
Exactly.
And it's actually, it's concentrated to this area where I've got my chest infection, for instance.
Yes, and because the T-shirt is now on the area where the problem is.
Yeah.
And also by doing this, you are stimulating white blood cell production, and also just so that they can work optimally to promote healing. And I've helped people do this, and they've had bad flus and fevers, and the next day, just by doing this, most of their symptoms are gone.
Yeah.
So this really works.
I've seen a young mother, you know, very concerned about a little baby having a little bit of a pneumonia.
Yes.
Do this with that baby of a few months.
Yes.
And that baby recovered within 1 day.
Yes. No, this really work wonderful.
Amazing stuff.
So I would recommend that all our viewers, if next time that you have flu, you will think of us doing this demonstration, and that you will try this. You will not regret it. And then, like we said, you keep it on for between 6 to 8 hours, then you can take it off. And then if you're still sick the next day, you can do it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, this is now the chest sorted out. But now I've got a little bit of a sore throat.
Sore throat.
You know, many people struggle with that, you know.
Yes.
Winter now.
Yeah.
I've got a sore throat. Is there something you can help me?
Most definitely.
Okay.
What you will need for that is, firstly, you will need two face cloths, which we are going to put around your neck, in other words, in the area where the problem is at the moment. Now, I'll show you with one cloth. What you want to do is you want to wet the cloth in
ice water
as well, and then just rinse out all the water once again so that it's not dripping wet, but that it's wet. That's what we want to do. And then what you can do is you can fold it any way you like, as long as it gets around to the neck. So I just fold it in half, and then I fold it in half again, so that it will be able to actually go around the neck. So I'll demonstrate it with the dry one.
So you're going to put that wet one
on the skin.
On the skin?
On the skin.
On your throat area?
Okay. So we do that. Just watch the cable. There we go. Okay, so then what I would do with this one is I will put this one at the back to make sure the neck is covered.
So the whole neck
is covered. Okay. Then, so this basically represents the wet T-shirt from the wet T-shirt treatment that we've just done. Then what you would need is some cling wrap, and this everybody have in their home. So we're going to put the cling wrap now onto the face cloth, and this is actually representing the black bag from the previous treatment.
Okay.
It's just to make sure that the cloths actually stay intact.
Yes. And keep your clothes from getting wet.
Exactly. So I'm just going to put a little bit around your neck, just to give the viewers an idea. It doesn't have to be much. It's depending on you, how tight you want it to be around your neck. As long as it's nice and tight and the cloth will not fall out.
Now, I'm going to be with this for quite a few hours.
Yes.
And it's just going to, and I could even repeat it.
Yes, you can.
You know, get a new cold
fresh
one
fresh
cloth on, and then it's going to heat up. By the time it's heated up, you know,
then you need a new one, I've told people, you go to church with it, go to work with it, go to sleep with it, do what you need to.
You could actually put a scarf now around it.
That's the next step.
Where nobody will even see I've got this. It's just cold and I'm wearing a scarf.
So it's perfect for winter. Yeah. So you can. So that's the next step. This is representing the top that you had on. Yeah. So we'll just put the scarf around your neck. Just make sure that it's nice and tight. You can even make sure that all the cling wrap and everything is covered, and you sit. And this will promote healing into the neck, and it can take your sore throat away within a day.
Yeah, now I'm ready for the winter.
You definitely are.
Right.
So we've spoken about a few ways that you can actually use hydrotherapy in terms of healing. You can also use hydrotherapy to relieve a headache.
Right.
I think the first and most important thing about a headache is that some people experience a headache because they are actually dehydrated. The brain is
So
actually
they need
struggling.
more water.
Exactly. So if you're struggling with a headache, I would suggest that you take a glass of water between every 10 to 15 minutes. Just drink a lot of fluids, and that usually helps with a headache. But something else that you can do is you can take a bowl or a bucket like this, maybe a little bit bigger, because you want to put your feet into this bowl. So you will sit on a chair, you'll put your feet into the bowl, which is hot water. We don't want to burn ourselves, but it needs to be hot enough, like this one were. And then what you would do is you will sit with the feet in there, and you would use a cloth, something really ice cold like this. You want it really ice cold, and you can actually put it onto the front of the head or even on the back of the neck.
So if I'm understanding you correctly,
Yes.
you'll sit on the chair, you'll have your 2 feet in the hot water.
Yes.
You will keep that as hot, not burning, but hot as you can.
Exactly.
And then you'll put some ice cloth on the head.
Exactly.
And even on the neck, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And so what's going to happen here now is that blood is going to rush there to the feet to cool it down, and blood's going to rush there to the head to go and get it heated up. And that's going to stimulate the circulation.
Exactly.
And many times a headache is because of congestion.
Yes, a lack of blood circulation.
Blood circulation.
Yes.
And so we're going to get that going, and then with the water, the hydration levels, many times the headache will just
disappear.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to help people that struggle with something as simple as a headache.
Sure. Now, I've also heard about, now let me not lie, I've used this many times, a Russian chair sweat.
Yes.
And so we're gonna have a demonstration on how a Russian chair sweat works. And that is just getting a person to get to artificial fever.
Yes.
And so we're going to go to our next set, and we're going to look at that.
Yes.
Thank you for helping us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Chantal.
All right.
Well, the Russian chair sweat is an exciting way of getting the immune system going. It's helping with the detox process. It helps you to open up the pores and just to spill out those toxins that would get expelled through the skin. And what's really important is, and you'll see there, Chantal is now praying with me, we would never do any hydrotherapy or any other treatment before we have prayed, because it's not the water, the steam, the heat now that's going to heal me. It's God's loving touch of healing that's going to heal me. And so we will always do a prayer before we do any treatment with anybody. Then Chantal takes all my vitals. She takes my blood pressure beforehand. That gets jotted down on a record sheet. She also does my pulse rate. We want to know what the pulse rate is exactly before we go into the treatment. She would also take my temperature beforehand. So what we'll see is, and she'll start monitoring this, she will now start the treatment, and as this whole process now heats up, your pulse rate would go up, your heart rate would, your pulse rate would go up, your temperature would go up, and that would be an indication for her when to stop the treatment. A treatment like this would never, we would never go on longer than about 30 minutes. So around about 30 minutes is the time we want a person into this treatment, and so we will push things as fast as we can, as hard as we can, and to get all the vitals up by the end of that 30 minutes. Then you'll notice that we've got the basin, and my feet will now go into the basin, and that water in the basin should be as hot as possible. You also would see Chantal putting some mustard powder into the water. That's just really an aid to open up the pores a little bit more, so that the effect of the heat would just work better. And then my feet would go into the water, and you would see that I would have the clothes that I would have on. Normally a person would have a t-shirt and a short on, and then the person would be covered with a sheet. So I'm here covered with a sheet, and then we cover the sheet again with a plastic sheet. So that is a washable plastic sheet, and I get covered with that so that we can keep the heat in. And then after the sheet, the plastic sheet, there is a thick blanket, or you could use a double bed duvet, something that would really now keep you hot and make you hot. And you can actually put more than one blanket on if you want to really speed this whole process up. It's important then that it's sealed in nicely, and Chantal uses a very clever method by just putting it together or keeping it together with wash line pegs, and then she would give me hot drink. Now what we prefer giving is stinging nettle and peppermint tree. This is a good detoxifying tea, but it also is an alkalinizer, and it would also heat me up from the inside. So there I would drink the tea, and then she would start monitoring me. The pulse rate is going to be taken, the temperature is going to be taken. We don't want the pulse rate to go above 120 beats per minute. So the moment the person gets to 120 beats per minute, then we'll take the person out of the chair sweat. We don't want, this could be before the 30 minutes is over. We also don't want the person, the temperature to go above 38 degrees. So the moment that the person gets to the temperature of 38, before the 30 minutes of treatment is over, then we'll take the person out of this treatment. What really helps to keep the person tolerate the heat that's building up at the bottom is using a face cloth in ice water. And this face cloth is now rinsed out and then put on the forehead. What Chantal is doing here is she's really wiping my face and wiping all the sweat that's now building up. She's wiping that off, and then she would put the face cloth over my head area, and one could actually put an ice pack or another ice cold face cloth coming out of the ice water at the back of the neck. So that would keep the head cool, but the body is now really heated up. Then she would make sure that the water stays as hot as possible at the bottom. So she would open up a little bit at the bottom, and she would pour the water, the cooked boiled water, she would pour out of the kettle into the basin. And you would see that she would do something very important there. She would put her hand in between the water and your client's feet. So she didn't want to burn me, so she would put her hand in between. And this is what you will do if you would wash a little baby, not to burn the little baby, because they've got very sensitive. Our feet is very sensitive, and the client would indicate, okay, you could pour more, it is not burning, or okay, whoa, it's now too hot, just leave it like it is. That is really very important. Chantal will then close up the whole Russian chair sweat again. By the time that the heat has gone up to close to 38, or the pulse rate has gone to 120, or where the time has lapsed, where it's 30 minutes, you would take your client and put them in bed. Now, you're going to be sopping wet. That sheet around you is going to be sopping wet because you really sweated. And so it's important to cover your bed with plastic sheets. And here you could see Chantal covering the bed that I would lie on with the plastic sheet. And there would be two sheets, so I would lie in between the two sheets. So I would get onto the bed with the the half sopping bed sheet, and then she would cover me with another plastic sheet. They are washable. They are soft. It's really a good thing to have at home. And then she would cover me once again with blankets or duvet. So we want the heat to stay in there. So this process of going from the hydro treatment on the chair to the bed must be swift. We don't want the body to cool down. And in the bed, you could actually, build up heat again. That is really what's going to happen. But then slowly you would cool down. And we want to be in bed at least 1 hour. That hour is very important. This is really where, after this artificial fever that you've built up, then it's very important to just look after your client while they're in bed, because they can heat up too much. So here you see Chantal putting a wet face cloth on my face again. That was a cloth that was in the ice water. She rinsed it out, put it over my head area, and you could actually put another one at the back of the neck. You could even put an ice pack. You get these soft ice packs. You could put that at the back of the neck, and that would keep the head cool again. And what's very comfortable, you do a lot of sweating there, is that the person monitoring you will just wipe your face every now and then to just cool you down a little bit. And then you would have this immune system really, really kick in. The best results is if you could stay in bed for this hour and even some of that time have a good sleep. And the white blood cell factories are just going to get going and start making little antibodies because of the artificial fever that you've built up. So this is basically what the Russian chair sweat is about. It's a powerful, potent way of getting the immune system going. It's a powerful way of detoxifying a person. And it depends on what condition the person has. With some of the drugs, we find that if you would want to detoxify somebody that's on drugs, you would have great success by just doing 2 hydros a day, where we normally have 1 a day. In a detox program of at least 10 days, you would find that the person would have at least 8 hydrotherapy sessions in that 11 days of program. May God bless you as you use these natural remedies and hydrotherapy specific to get the system going again. And go and try it, and you will see some great benefits. Thank you very much, Chantal, for this insightful way of teaching us how to use practically hydrotherapy. I want to really encourage you to go and try this. I've seen so many people breaking a headache by just that simple treatment. I've seen so many people not losing a limb because of bad circulation by just applying that principle. Let's go and do it. Let's avoid, all the long-term pain by thinking, I don't have time for this. I would rather just take a pill and get done with this pain. No, let's try and see if we can just, put some effort in here. And you know what? This is part of this active life. This is part of getting, active so that we would have a better quality of life. Well, let's go and speak about water. Water is the most common substance found in the body. And yet most people are dehydrated. You might not know it, but the average adult man, he's about 60% water. A baby is about 75% water. Our brains consist about 85% water. So water is really very, very important. When you feel thirsty, then you are usually already dehydrated. So, we shouldn't wait for the signal where our body says, I need water. That is really too late. I need to have a plan for the day. If I am, as an adult man, 60% water, I need to hydrate myself well. And so if I need to get about 8 to 10 glasses of water, and if I'm more active, I need a little bit more, I need to plan my day so that I would get those water in. I cannot wait for my system to tell me, listen, man, there is now a problem, I need more water. You will know that you are not dehydrated when your urine left in the toilet is a clear, very pale color. If it turns yellow, if it turns orangey, you know it's the sign, it's the red light going on. You are dehydrated. You need some more water. And so we need to just get our plan in place so that we get enough water per day. Let me share some of the beautiful benefits of water. When we look at our blood sugar, our cells needs water to bring glucose inside of it. If there's dehydration, the glucose won't get into the cells. When I get dehydrated, the water actually is taken out of the cells, and what goes with it? The glucose. So it means that I'm going to have even blood sugar problems at that time, because now there's more sugar in the bloodstream rather than in the cells. It does have a profound effect on our blood pressure as well. You see, when you get dehydrated, your blood thickens because there's not enough water. And thick blood needs more pressure to push it through the vessels. And so you would see a raise of blood pressure as your body tries to get everything done with this thick blood. Water has a profound effect on your immune system. It does stimulate and it strengthens. I've seen this so many times when I feel a little bit feverish, or I feel, there's something, uncomfort, there's something that's happening. It's a disease that's coming. Disease means a lack of ease. So there's a lack of ease in my body. I know that I could really turn this around very quickly by starting to do the contrast showers, by just doing the hot and the cold. And what I do here is I boost my immune system. I get these white blood cells going. Go and see what they can do. Find the bacteria they need to kill off so that we are better protected. Then the endorphins. Water has a profound effect on the endorphins. Running water makes negative ions. Now, we're going to talk about that, and we have spoken about this, positive and negative ions. Remember, when we talk about a negative ion, it means it's good for us. A positive ion, bad for us. Negative ions pull things to it. Bad ion just throws off. So running water makes negative ions. Electrical charges that help make endorphins. And it is those feel-good endorphins that's really involved here. So when I would sit next to a water stream and I hear the stream going, and it would really be most effective if I had my feet in there, it really leaves me with a lot of negative ions that is very, very positive in my life. And positive ions, on the other way, gives me a lack of energy. So I'm going to feel unwell with too much positive ions. And my immunity is weakened by positive ions. Very important that I start stimulating myself. I start exposing myself to those things that would enhance the negative ions. Not only from a physical point of view, but even from an emotional point of view, even from a spiritual point of view. Well, we've got the same thing with cholesterol. Water has a profound effect on cholesterol. Negative ions increases my HDL. HDL is my good cholesterol. And it reduces the overall cholesterol if it needs to be reduced. So water has a profound effect on the system. Well, Jesus said in John 4 verse 10, he said, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that says to you, give me to drink, you would have asked him, and He would have given you the living water. And so, while we talk about water and the importance of it as a health law and also as a true remedy for recovery, for real spiritual recovery, we need the living water. I pray that God would come into your heart and would give you the living water to live by. May this day and this promise be special for you, for this day, and for eternity until Jesus comes. Well, I want to remind you that we are talking about the health laws that would prevent disease. We also have the true remedies that would help us to recover. And these natural laws, nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, trust, may God use these in your life so that you would have healing power God's way. Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, what a privilege, Lord, to once again speak to you. You've got the answers, the detailed answers for our challenges in life. And we ask, Lord, that we would receive your healing power today. Lord, we ask this from a physical point of view. We ask this from a mental point of view. But we also ask this from a spiritual point of view. Lord, give us the living water today. This is our prayer. We humbly thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.